disease control. Dr. Bharat Pankhania is Senior Clinical Lecturer at Exeter University. Very good morning to you, Dr. Pankhania. Out of this report, what do you think is the most damning headline for you in our failure to prepare?
I think the points are several. I read the executive summary last night, and I sat there thinking, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so, point by point. I have been in your very studios raising these alarms in February, March, April, May last year, 2020. So the most damning thing I feel is the group think that started to take place, which is also mentioned in the report, that there was group think. There was delay, there was not the consideration that you need to act fast, you need to act hard. I clearly remember using the phrase on BBC Radio 4 to Nick Robinson. I said, you need to go in early, you need to go in hard. And then I had to explain what early and hard meant. Yeah. So when people say this is hindsight, I don't think so. Many of my colleagues were talking about you need to go in early, you need to go in hard, and we would have saved many lives if we had done so.
And what do you think would have been the reason behind, as you quite rightly quote from the report, groupthink? What would be the reason for people collectively coming to the wrong conclusion? Misplaced optimism, wishful thinking?
But, so we were also mentioning at that time, if you recall, we didn't even know the makeup of SAGE until its makeup was leaked to the Guardian newspaper. And at that time, I recall saying, we don't know who these people are in SAGE who are making these decisions. And when we found out who it was, who the people were, I remember saying this clearly, there is no representation from grassroots communicable disease control expert, people like myself. There are no ITU experts on the SAGE committee. There are no directors of public health on SAGE committee. There are no GPs on SAGE committee. And no wonder the decisions were made because the SAGE was not properly made up, extensively made up of people who do the work every day.
Right.
You sound very angry.
Very angry, I'm very upset. I remember being really upset when Channel 4 were interviewing me. I was crying because there were these people who were dying alone in nursing homes, and there was nothing we could do about it. And yet nothing has been done to address the great wrong. So many people died in nursing homes, and they died alone. It's a tragedy, and we could have seen it coming, and we were just not doing anything about it. And people like myself who are independent outside at Exeter were powerless except to just see it happening. It's terrible.
And how do you right a wrong like that now?
Well, before I answer how do we write this, when people say this is all hindsight, I vehemently disagree with people because I've been in this business for about 25, 30 years, and we have planned and practiced all these scenarios. A viral infection arrives, it is a pandemic strain, what are we going to do? And in none of those plans did we have people dying alone. So how do we put it right? We need an independent conversation about what went wrong and what was the groupthink, what was the political influences, but we need that sooner rather than later, because as time goes by, our memories fade and we just move on with the world. We mustn't allow this mistake to be repeated. So you start that inquiry as soon as possible, not next spring.